Good morning. It's Monday, November 4th, and I'm here to tell you bad news about Joe Biden. Joe Biden's feel-good tour, which took place a couple months ago, is a failure. It has been a failure because Joe Biden's current polling numbers are below Jimmy Carter's numbers. And Jimmy Carter had numbers in the high 30s, and Biden's numbers are below that. They are worse than Carter's 38% approval rating. And I'm sure you all know that Donald Trump currently has higher favorable and lower unfavorable ratings than Biden. Now, in many recent polls, including surveys in the battleground states, and those are the states that are likely to decide the next election, Biden is losing to Trump in those states. So the situation is dire, at the very least, for Biden. But there's still 11 months to go, and things change over a period of time. And one must recognize certain facts that are true. No matter what you do, there's always going to be 10% who are not satisfied. And then the other factor is that in our elections, 80% of the voters vote the party line. They don't care who's really running. They have no idea who's running in their party. Yeah, they know the name, but they really don't follow the statistics, and they don't do their homework, etc. And yes, there are some people who belong to one party or another, but they will vote according to their feelings about the candidates. Put all of that into the mix, and Biden is losing to Trump. And one of the major reasons why Biden is in trouble is because voters aren't believing in Biden economics, or Bidenomics as they call it. So if the goal of Bidenomics was to make Americans feel good about the president's economic record, well, they don't feel good. An economy is a major factor in people's lives. And yes, if we look at some statistics, we may think that everything is perfect, because the unemployment rate in this country is down to about 3.5%. And that's very, very low. We have lived for many, many years with unemployment rates that were around 5%. So the unemployment rate is very good and it's very favorable to Biden, but it doesn't really count. So we have great economic news, but the Democrats are upset because they're not getting enough credit for that. And the Democrats don't understand why. You look at the beginning of 2023, nearly all the economists were predicting a recession. And now, even those who were once skeptical are acknowledging that there's not going to be a recession. No recession, low unemployment, inflation seems to be easing, interest rates may come down, but still Trump is in the lead by a lot, and ranting about how terrible he is being treated and how the Attorney General in New York is after him and the country is trying to destroy him. He is out there telling his false story. So what's the problem? The problem is that most Americans believe that the country is on the wrong track. And this is true even in Biden's Democratic Party. And that's roughly 65% of the people are thinking that the country is on the wrong track. And they are especially sour about the economy and the high price of everything compared with before the pandemic. So whether it's fair or not, Biden is getting the blame for the high pricing that exists in this country right now. I'll cite one example for you. I love duck. I used to be able to go to Costco and buy 2 half ducks that I could put in the oven and roast in about 20 minutes, and they were delicious. And they cost between $7 and $10 Now those 2 ducks are $20, and I don't buy them anymore. And that is an example of what is going on in this country. People are desperate about inflation and the cost of living. 64% of the population has chosen that as the top problem that we have in this country. And that's about 30 percentage points higher than anything else you can imagine, right? So while we have many other problems in this country, inflation is at the top of the list. And that affects everybody. And so even though we have low unemployment rates, the salaries that those people are probably getting is not enough to cover the cost of inflation. And the Biden's presidency is defined by the inflation. And as long as it continues to exist, Biden is in trouble. And many people are angry about the costs of living in this country. Imagine, everything that's important to you is double the price it was before the pandemic started. So yes, I will say the pandemic had a lot to do with it, but the uncontrolled level of inflation is what's killing Biden's approval rating. And even though he pretends that he's giving a great message to the people, those messages are not falling on listeners. They're falling on deaf ears, because every time you go to the supermarket or you go to anything, you find out that what it costs today is higher than it cost you yesterday or the day before or the day before that. Nothing seems to be going down in price. And while Trump complains about cracking down on crime and homelessness and the border, the real issue right now is inflation. So in a nutshell, the biggest problem that Biden has to deal with today is at the grocery store. Voters like those in the polls don't care about the rate of inflation slowing. They care that the prices are much higher today. And if Biden can't figure out how to straighten that problem out, he doesn't have a chance. And unfortunately, if Trump wins, he won't be able to figure this problem out either. So the country is in a desperate situation now. We're caught in the grips of an inflationary cycle that nobody seems to be able to get control of. And that's a shitty way to live. When you don't have enough money to buy everything and live comfortably and not worry about the prices continuing to go up and up and up. And there's no politician in this country that's going to solve that problem easily, if at all. So I leave you with that. An inflationary mess that has the grips, has its hands on the throats of everybody in this country. And public officials who don't know what to do about it. And even if they did, they probably couldn't get it done. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye.